IQ scores, heights, measurement errors. They all share a hidden shape. That shape is the Gaussian distribution, and once you see it, you'll find it everywhere. An IQ test is carefully designed so that scores follow a Gaussian distribution, also called the bell curve, with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 15. The mean is simply the center, the most common score, right at 100. The standard deviation tells you how spread out the scores are. A value of 15 means most people are fairly close to 100, but a few are much higher or lower. Here is the full bell curve for IQ. Notice it is perfectly symmetric. The left side mirrors the right. Most people score near the center, and as you move further away, fewer and fewer people are found there. Now let's see one of the most powerful facts about any Gaussian, the 68-95-99. 7 rule. About 68% of all people, roughly 2/3, fall within one standard deviation of the mean. For IQ, one standard deviation is 15 points, so 68% of the population scores between 85 and 115. That's the bright blue band you see shaded on the curve right now. Expand outward to 2 standard deviations. That's 30 points on either side. And you capture about 95% of all people, scoring between 70 and 130. And 3 standard deviations out covers 99.7% of everyone. That means only about 0.3% of the population, roughly 1 in every 330 people, falls outside this range entirely. Focus on just the upper tail. A score above 145 is 3 standard deviations above the mean. Only about 0.13% of people reach that threshold, fewer than 1 in 750. That tiny glowing sliver at the far right is the entire genius-level population. So the numbers on an IQ scale are not arbitrary. They directly encode your position within this mathematical shape. But where does this beautiful shape actually come from? Let's build the formula step by step. The key question is, what function is largest at the center and smoothly decays as you move away in either direction? Start with this expression, the squared distance from the mean. It is 0 right at the center and grows larger the further you move away. That's exactly the behavior we want to penalize. Now flip it negative and divide by 2 times the variance. This turns the upward opening bowl into a downward opening one, a shape that peaks at the center and dips on both sides. Here comes the critical step. Feed that negative expression into the exponential function. Watch the downward parabola transform into a smooth bell curve on screen. The exponential of a negative square naturally creates this shape. No tricks, no shortcuts. Notice how the standard deviation controls the width. When sigma is small, the bell is tall and narrow. Scores cluster tightly. When sigma is large, the bell flattens and spreads. Animate this now and watch the curve breathe. There is one problem. The area under the curve is not yet equal to 1. For a probability distribution, the total area must equal exactly 1 because all probabilities must add up to 100%. The fix is a normalization constant out front. 1 divided by sigma times the square root of 2 pi. This prefactor scales the entire curve, so the total area snaps to exactly 1. The square root of 2 pi appears because of a famous result in mathematics. The integral of this exponential over all real numbers equals exactly the square root of pi. Putting it all together, this is the complete Gaussian probability density function. Every bell curve you've ever seen is described by this single equation, determined entirely by its mean and its standard deviation. But why does this shape appear so often in the real world? The answer is one of the deepest ideas in all of mathematics, the Central Limit Theorem. Imagine dropping a ball through a board filled with pegs. At each peg, the ball randomly bounces left or right. Each bounce is just one small, unpredictable event. After many bounces, the ball lands in a bin at the bottom. Drop thousands of balls, and the bins fill up. The result? A perfect bell curve. Every time, without fail. This is the Central Limit Theorem. Whenever you add together many small independent random influences, the total always converges to a Gaussian. Height is the sum of hundreds of genetic and environmental factors. IQ reflects the combination of countless neural influences. Measurement error is the sum of many tiny inaccuracies. The Gaussian is not just a convenient shape. It is the inevitable outcome of randomness summing up. Two numbers, mean and standard deviation, fully describe where data clusters and how widely it spreads. That is the quiet power of the bell curve.